Welcome back to the return of The Walking Dead, Season 5, Episode 9. Oh, I've forgotten the title.
What happened and what's going on?
Oh, what's going on?
Yes.
A title that so accurately portrays what everyone's frame of mind was.
What's happening?
What is going on?
What's going on?
I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was probably the most existential this series has ever been. Before we get in, Chad Coleman, what a great actor.
Yes.
He really performed in this episode, and of course, this is his goodbye episode, unless someone else has a fever dream. Yeah, so there were some common themes being echoed throughout, such as things happened how they had to, how they were going to.
Yeah.
Said again and again and again. Right in the beginning, Tyreese sets up his fever dream with the radio illusion, and clearly has survivor's guilt over what's going on, and he's not he's very conflicted. He's not clear.
Aesthetically, it was great. I loved how, at the very start, you're drawn in and you're thinking, okay, this is Beth's funeral, right? This is what they're doing, they're throwing back. And I haven't seen a lot of funerals in The Walking Dead. I don't think there's been many. So I was thinking, this is one, all right, we'll pay homage to a great character. So it was very shocking. Like, I did not expect it to be another death, because usually in The Walking Dead, the traits go, death, everyone builds himself back up, they get back to strength, another death, they build.
Down again.
So tear down again. So when it was like tear down, and then whatever you've got left is torn down again, because Tyreese is a character that provides someone realistic, because he builds himself, he's always up and down. Like, he won't kill zombies like willy-nilly, like that's what you call in Scotland. Like, they won't kill zombies, or people either, like, and he's a character that people relate to because he represents the struggles that people have to try and overcome these zombies, and that they are still people. So I was in complete shock that he was just kind of killed straight away.
Well, he is the struggling man.
Yes.
From the song.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, well, we've seen the death of Tyreese and Beth, who were two of the characters who had the most humanity, like who were more than survivors, but who were human people. And they had the most light in them, I think. So what does this say going forward when we've lost these two who were clearly, the more positive and glowing of the group? I mean, we have Glenn and Michonne like standing in for different viewpoints. Michonne saying, "Don't you want one more day with a chance?" Glenn kind of saying, well, his speech early on made me think, he was saying like, "I found Maggie, I got all these things." He was saying like, we're looking for a place where we can like win or survive, but he's saying this is the prize and we're all eventually going to lose.
Well, Glenn and Rick really set themselves apart from Tyreese in this one by kind of agreeing with each other. Yeah, no matter what happened, we were definitely going to kill her. Like, this is where we're at now. Well, it wasn't about Beth. It wasn't about the trade-off. It wasn't about the plan. We were definitely going to kill her no matter what. Yeah. Now, Tyreese is a guy who has trouble killing anybody or anything. And the fact that the writers chose to kill him off of the show, and Beth in the episode prior is saying there really is no place in this world for humanity.
Yes.
If you are a kind heart or a gentle soul, you're not fit to live
I
here.
don't know if I believe that though. I mean, because they were both so emphatic in believing that, even though they both died, that doesn't mean the sentiment has to die.
I mean,
necessarily.
but how much more just of a cause do you need to kill someone than someone who's threatening the only hope that they have, which is baby Judith? Like remember what's his name's gang? The cannibal gang, he said he was going to threaten to kill Judith, right? If he didn't, and he never killed him, and he said he did, lied. So to me, from that moment on, like, Tyreese was always on like that battle between himself and who he was going to become and who he should be in that world. And I always thought he was fighting a losing battle, and that's why it was for me, it was an emotional scene. It was emotional throughout. All these different characters that were representing parts of him, because the governor coming in, and then you had obviously the kids. It was very well shot, but I always knew, I thought Tyreese would die at one point, but I just didn't expect it to be that soon.
Well, to echo the existentialist statement, they're all going to die soon.
Yes, but I just didn't expect it to be, as I said, like just rebuilding after Beth's unnecessary death, as I clearly stated on the end of the last scene.
Both those deaths were so pointless and stupid and undeserved and unworthy of like such good characters, and it just kind of, I think that pays more into the point of like, this is, an existential nightmare.
Do you not think that Tyreese's death was more just than Beth's? I think because Beth was a result of poor judgment, if you ask me, because I did state before that Beth's judgment could have cost the lives of everyone else in a world like that.
They both made a stupid mistake right before they died.
I think, and that's what Rick states. If you remember an episode back, Rick says to Carl, everyone will slip up. And that's why I think that scene when we were talking about, we might have thought that he was actually looking it's something that was worth noting. Like he noticed something in the picture, but no, it was just to emphasize that he was slipping up.
Well, I think it was just a window to a world that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
He looks at these pictures, he sees smiling children, they're happy, you know, they're in a home, they're warm, they're loved, and he wants to go back to that even though he knows it's impossible. So his little detour into that world for just a second was all it takes for him to slip up in the real world and get bit.
And the way that was constantly going on back with a dream, I don't really like that method in shows, to be honest, but I do like it. I don't think it would have worked if he lived. I think that it worked because he died. You know what I mean? I think because he was always kind of drawn back and forth with these hallucinations. If he was to actually come back into the real world and be like to live on, I don't think it would have worked as well as it did with him die. I think it was very fitting, the fact that he was looking at all these past characters that have influenced him one way or another.
Yeah, it was almost like he had that little angel and devil sitting on his shoulders, telling him, no, you know, you're not right for this world. Yeah. It's your fault that you're in this. And the other one saying, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, you did all that you could. You were there when you needed to be. It's better now. It's better for you to be dead right now.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be alive, and you know that.
Yeah. Well, Kim, I watched you. I was there for your reaction.
You were watching me
I was watching your reaction. So what is your take on the actual, like, the scene as a whole? For one, I'm a big sucker for music moments. I love the music throughout, especially with Beth. So what
Beth's
did you
a good
think?
singer.
Yeah, she is. So what did you think as a whole, like, from?
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you watch, you know, you're watching hope die, and you're watching the symbol of, you know, a better world kind of die, even though Michonne says, you know, one more day with a chance, like, let's keep trying. But then it's like, it hurts so much, and you watch Sasha, like, she's wearing Bob's coat, and she can't handle it, and it's rough.
Yeah, it's a rough world. And Walking Dead, typical fashion, would have had Tyreese at least live a little bit longer. And it would have fans kind of hope, like, oh, now they're regaining something. But this is what I generally like it, is that now there's no hope. There's no hope at this moment in time.
There's a little
hope to live on.
There's
that's the
hope.
thing, is because we got a strange, skewed view of hope. He sits down with Noah in the middle of the street when Noah's crying and is saying, hey, I felt the same way. I was going through the same thing. I didn't want to go on anymore. I didn't want to do it. But I did. I got myself up, and then I was there for Judith when she needs it. It's this domino effect. You may not realize it now, but you have reason to go on. And then when he's sitting there bleeding out, he gets revisited by Martin, the guy he chose not to kill in the cabin. And he said, hey, man, had you killed me right there, this whole domino effect could have prevented all of these deaths. You could be alive right now. Well, so it goes both ways.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, because, you know, we see that even though Tyreese is dead, what he said, it doesn't not matter now, and it doesn't not have value and meaning and live on in some way.
Yeah. And it poses a question that everyone who watches the show is asking, just from the two girls that slipped away, is that it's better now. Like, it is better to be dead. And that's a question that I don't think people ask enough in The Walking Dead, is like, is it better to be dead?
That is a real thing that the writers want you to think about.
Yeah. Part of
it's
it
like,
anymore?
yeah, you guys are all survivors, but it sucks for all of you all of the time.
And it struck more a chord with me because it comes from the vision of innocence which turned to massacre. The two girls, like to have them tell them it's better over here, but those were the face of massacre at that time. But to go on a couple of points I had to get off my chest. The one, Rick on the phone, like, or on the radio, like, don't bring Carl, like. He's been in a zombie apocalypse for 4 years. He's seen his mum die and give birth. At the same time, enough, I think he can handle a chopped in arm. It's these messages that they're trying to, like, preserve, that there's still something that cannot be seen. There is nothing that cannot be seen now. Like, you can see anything and still be.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
No?
I think there are still some things that can't be seen that are of value. And, you know, that's Rick trying again to, you know, be in that world where things are better and more comfortable and more safe. And it's probably not feasible, but why not try? There's this old French film about, like, dying, and then two characters are like, what they say is to another couple who might die, who are dead, is try anyway. You know, so it's just like, you're probably going to fail, but you have to do something.
Yeah. I can see that, and it's a smart way of kind of showing that Rick still has those tendencies to try and think for the better good, especially, he's always thinking for his children, but sometimes you think Rick's got little humanity left, but instances like that just kind of bring him back. But I just thought it was kind of funny because they've seen everything. The key should not be about protecting their eyes from that. It should be about protecting them for the future and not slipping up the way Tyreese has done, because that's what I meant mainly by not that hope died, but that hope in humanity generally gets you either killed or in a difficult situation.
That is correct.
Right?
So far, anytime someone's vulnerable or shows wisdom or humanity, it generally doesn't play well for them.
Yeah.
On a personal level, but maybe that sentiment lives on and strengthens those who still survive and live and maybe are more than survivors and are just humans.
Yeah.
I think we got to wrap this up. So next week,
I just want to talk about the pickup truck full of foreshadowing that happens in the
Yes.
background of this episode.
Yes.
We start off with a little bit of graffiti that says wolves not far.
Okay. Yes. Oh, because that's what, and then we start. I don't know if any of you guys seen the glimpse of the next episode. That's
Don't worry about that yet, because we also see the town is obviously ravaged, houses burned. This is not the typical raided.
not ravaged, like articulately
Clearly
cut up,
people
like
did
arms
this.
taken up,
Right.
body torsos cut. As you see in the truck, the torsos all fill out. Legs are just left, so so it's like a planned
Torsos with
massive cut.
W's
Yeah. Yes.
scrawled into their foreheads.
Yes.
So clearly this is setting up the next adversarial group that we're going to meet.
And I'm sure they'll be delightful.
Yeah.
well, we know that humans are always far worse opponents than walkers.
Yes.
Like monumentally worse
Yeah.
to face. So we have that to look forward to. Looks
Yeah.
like Daryl is looking for water
Yes.
in the next
Yeah.
episode. So
Yeah.
maybe it will be a more Daryl, it looks like Maggie as well, centric episode.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as if they now need to bring it back to the characters you expected to be affected by the Beth scenario more than anything, because you expect that to be the focus of this episode, but the writers, give them credit, they take you in a different direction and they pull on your heart this way instead of always kind of thinking about Beth's death, now thinking about how they're going to respond to Tyreese at the same time. So turmoil in the camp.
And we'll find out about that next week. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.